pressing the Pentagon and other government agencies for more answers about UFOs. Today, they'll hear testimony from 3 witnesses at a House hearing. Nicole Killian has more from Capitol Hill.
It may seem like a scene out of a movie, similar to the 1977 classic Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
This is nuts.
My gosh!
But sightings of unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAPs or UFOs, are on the rise, with the Pentagon tracking more than 650 potential incidents.
It goes and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me.
Retired Navy Commander David Fravor spoke to 60 Minutes and plans to testify today about a well-documented 2004 experience with a tic-tac-shaped object.
So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
He's one of 3 witnesses, including whistleblower and ex-intelligence officer David Grush. Grush was tasked with investigating UAPs and claims even he was denied access to information on a government UFO crash retrieval program, something the Pentagon disputes.
We've had a heck of a lot of pushback about this hearing.
Tennessee Republican Congressman Tim Burchett, who pushed for the hearing, believes the Pentagon has been stonewalling Congress on potential extraterrestrial encounters.
Just release all the files that they have on it. Quit with this redacted stuff.
California Democrat Robert Garcia is ranking member on the panel.
I do believe that we could be much more transparent with the public as to UAPs, but also maybe reasons why Department of Defense or other federal agencies have withheld certain information. So I think those are responsible questions to ask.
And it's here in this very committee room where a lot of those questions will be raised. There is growing bipartisan support for greater transparency in both chambers. Over in the Senate, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer recently introduced an amendment with Republicans to declassify government records related to UFOs. Anne Marie?
Well, when there are precious few areas where there is bipartisan support, I suppose we should celebrate this, but I'm still sort of scratching my head as to why there is this sudden interest in UFOs. Can you talk about who we're going to hear, a little bit more about who we're going to hear from? The whistleblower, David Grush, I think, and then 2 others are going to also be testifying. It sounds like a lot of sort of personal accounts as opposed to expert witnesses.
Right. These are former government officials in most instances, and many of them have had encounters with some of these UAPs or UFOs, if you will. In terms of that whistleblower, he raised a lot of eyebrows some time ago when he alleged that there was some type of spacecraft that was discovered of a non-human form. So that has raised a lot of questions about, well, what exactly is he talking about? And that's why lawmakers here really want to find more. They feel like they're not getting enough information from the government when it comes to this issue. So, you know, they say that this is all about transparency, and certainly there's been an increase apparently in UFO sightings since 2021. More than 600 cases are being tracked by the Pentagon right now. When they say more transparency, what do they mean? I mean, do they want more transparency with Congress, more transparency with everyone else? I think all of the above. I mean, certainly there's a fascination around this, but, you know, people do want more information when it comes to the facts. And certainly while the Pentagon has briefed Congress, you know, within the last several months and within the last year and has been tracking these UAPs, in the eyes of many lawmakers, there's still a lot of unresolved questions. In the case specifically of Congressman Burchett, you know, he claims that there are witnesses that they wanted to testify that were blocked, that every time they try to get information, you know, they kind of get pushback and they're not getting what they need. So some of that is part of that push and pull that we often see between members of Congress and government agencies. And so that's kind of why they want to have this hearing, to really kind of open up the discussion and discourse around this issue of UFOs. So I'm sort of curious. I mean, NASA isn't participating in this. I don't think the Department of Defense is. Are we hearing any sort of reaction from the departments that would be kind of overseeing this sort of thing? Well, the Pentagon has pushed back against some of those claims made by that whistleblower, suggesting that they don't have any verifiable information at this point to substantiate such claims. And as I mentioned, you know, they have acknowledged, though, that there are these UAPs that are out there. As we mentioned in the piece, they're tracking some 650, and you know, while some is considered just basic space junk or other things, you know, there are some that have raised questions. So it is something that does exist, and I think the Pentagon has been pretty clear about that. But again, with respect to this particular House Oversight Committee, there was the desire to have officials, at least from NASA, come. And again, in the case of Tim Burchett, he alleges that, you know, he was blocked from hearing from some of these officials. So there is a little controversy involved with some of the people appearing and why. But again, the hope is to, as one lawmaker told me, Robert Garcia, who we talked to in our piece, you know, he wants this to be very serious in nature, not about antics or exchanges, because at the end of the day, there are potential national security implications.
All right, Nicole, we'll be watching. Thank you.
We begin with the latest.